Hi, everybody. Happy week 2. I just wanted to drop in and give you a couple pointers, uh, you know, to supplement the coursework, just some tips. And one of them is that I would really like you to start thinking of the when you make responses to your peers, to your classmates, A, always address them by name. B, use all of your entries, whether it's to your peers or whether it's your initial entry to practice writing at the academic level. In other words, use these low stakes assignments, things that have points instead of grades, to improve your writing. All right. I'm going to tell you straight up the things that really, if you want to say, I've got some pet peeves, two of them are as follows. One, wordiness. You may have been rewarded when you were told you need to write 500 words in 20 minutes. Well, that kind of methodology encouraged you to use bloated writing. In other words, who can blame you for wanting to use due to the fact that 5 words instead of since 1 word? It makes sense that you would, kind of pad it if you're trying to get to 500 words in 20 minutes or whatever, or those kind of drills you used to have to do in previous iterations of your life as an English student. All right, so there is no reward in college writing for wordiness. Whenever you can use 1 word in place of 5, 3, 2, whatever, 5, 4, 3, 2, do it, okay? It's called the art of subtraction. Less is more, all right? I know that sounds corny, but it's true. Students, reading is a really heavy and hard mental activity, even for the best readers. So your job as a writer is always to be thinking about the reader. We tend to think in a class that has a heavy writing component that's all about us and our writing. And it kind of is, but the writing is all about the reader. How is the reader going to make it through our material? How is the reader going to arrive at our intended meaning? So you've got to give your reader all the breaks they can get. In the one of the quizzes, it asked you to estimate kind of how long a typical paragraph is. And I would argue that 10 to 14 lines, not sentences, lines, is the perfect size paragraph. Granted, you can, make it a little less or a little more, but honestly, readers need to be able to chunk the material and make meaning. If you, some of you wrote answers like, hey, a paragraph can be as long as you need it to be, as long as you can get your point across. Well, that isn't keeping in mind of what the reader needs to be able to navigate and negotiate your, arrive at your intended meaning. All right. So my tip number 1 is we're going to be getting rid of wordiness. Okay. So in these more informal responses that have points rather than grades, please practice upgrading your writing. One of the things that helps create wordiness is overuse of to be verbs. Words like be, is, am, was, were, are, have been being, be, do, done. Words like that all end up kind of signaling wordiness. In other words, to rely on those low-level helper verbs rather than real verbs is going to naturally, they're like training wheels. If you don't take them off, no matter how big and gnarly the jumps are that you want to do with your bike, if you've got training wheels still attached, it's going to be harder for you. So in this quarter, part of what I'm trying to get you guys to do, take off the training wheels. That's also going to occur when I address the 5-paragraph essay formula. There was a question about that in one of the quizzes as well. All right, most of you said things like, I'm really good at it because that's what we defaulted to in high school. Well, congratulations, you're in college now. You're not trapped by the 5-paragraph essay format. You're going to be able to create much more imaginative thesis statements, and without having to be trapped by some kind of 5-paragraph list type thesis. So some changes are coming down the pipeline for you. Right now, be thinking about how you can reduce wordiness. It doesn't mean you're going to write less. It just means you're going to cut out the fat. I kind of hate to say it like that, but the bulk. Like, I don't know if you've ever cooked a tri-tip. Sorry if you're a vegan. But, tri-tips are covered in fat, right? And you're not supposed to trim them because the fat is I guess you're not supposed to trim it all off because the fat makes the flavor better. But I'm kind of like, ew. So, I want to trim it all off and make it all lean. Okay, so that's kind of what you're doing. By getting rid of your low-level phrasing and your repetition, you're trimming that fat off to get down to a more lean and probably nutritious version of your wording. Okay, everybody, that's my little short pep talk for today. Keep at it. You guys are doing awesome. I'm really proud of you, and you just keep doing what you're doing. And again, come to my office hours, drop me an email whenever, if there's a link that's not open or it's not cooperating or you're just lost and you don't know what's going on, come to my office hours, send me an email. All right. I'm on your side. I'm your ally, and I am here to make this quarter successful for you.